Rakan is one of the best supports in League of Legends. Even when he's not paired up with his lover Xayah, he is one of the most consistent and most reliable supports in the game. Decent laning, decent roaming, decent team fighting. Although Rakan might not be the absolute best at anything, he is extremely good at just about everything. And even though the vast majority of Rakan players are all support players, there is one Rakan player who has been able to hit Challenger playing him completely in the mid lane. And this guy does not build him like a regular support. He does not play something like Lulu or Karma mid. He goes full AP and commits completely to an assassin Rakan. This is how to play like a challenger.
Well, I'm Lucas. I think I'm the best Rakan on Euna. I'm Grandmaster player and playing Rakan like 2 or 3 years ago. I started playing Rakan because I don't like meta and normal champs like Galio. This is boring for me and I prefer to play something funny. It's like a better pike for me. You can roam really well and fast and your wave clear is way much better than pike. I really enjoy one-shotting someone with my AP support.
Lucas is the highest ranked Rakan mid player in the world. He currently sits at rank 182 in EUNE Challenger with a disgusting 67% win rate on Rakan. What makes Rakan mid a viable pick? Rakan's early game is surprisingly strong. His level 1 trading is actually one of the best in the mid lane. His W is pretty easy to hit, it knocks someone up, it deals a good amount of damage, and it makes it difficult for somebody to trade back with him easily because he has his passive shield. In the early level 1 to 2, Rakan has a pretty big advantage against most of the laners that he goes up against. While Rakan might not be the absolute strongest at level 1 and 2, he is certainly fairly strong. The way that you will be playing this is very different from other mid laners. Rakan does not really have a third ability in a 1v1. Rakan's E, Battle Dance, can't actually be cast without an ally in the lane. So how do you make the most out of this champion and get an effective lead in the early game?
I'm playing around my jungler. I can't solo kill champs like too hard for Rakan. Can't do nothing about on lane and I have to move from mid to help my jungler. Secure crops in the early game or dive top. I make sure I have prio on lane. I watch my jungler all the time. When I don't have prio, when I play versus champs like Syndra, I just don't care about my farm. I know I'm better in early game than normal mid laner. That's why I prefer to roam. I don't really care about farm early game.
You can think about Rakan in the early game as a support for your jungler. While a support is always needed to babysit an AD carry and help them win the laning phase and get their farm, Rakan mid serves as a similar role for his own jungler. It enables him to go for dives, it allows him to contest crabs a lot easier, and the best part of course is that Rakan is an extremely good lane to gank. He's got a good amount of CC and damage in the early game, making him an ideal pick to be able to put pressure on. Now, it is very important to make sure that your jungler is playing an aggressive jungler. Rakan's early game playstyle is entirely revolved around helping his jungler do things like dive top lane. If your jungler is someone like Karthus or Master Yi who just wants to farm and do nothing early game, Rakan mid loses a lot of his value. With just his 3 basic abilities, Rakan is such a disgustingly strong roamer. With his flash, E, and W, he can get into a fight extremely quickly compared to his enemy laner. The only champion that's comparable to Rakan in terms of this early roaming is Talon. Rakan's basic kit is not strong enough that you're able to roam freely like other mid laners. If you're going to roam on Rakan, which you should be roaming in conjunction with your jungler. What Lucas often does is he goes for ganks in the top lane because the top lane has the highest chance of success when you go for a 3 vs 1. Even if your top laner is behind and losing, with a jungler and a mid laner coming in to gank, you should still be able to easily secure a kill.
I just can't lose in early game when we fight 2 vs 2 with Rek'Sai and Rakan. I can heal and shield Rek'Sai in early when this champ is super strong in early. I need a lot of help in early game when my jungler don't care about me. I will be behind. I need a jungler. Basically, I'm half AP support and half AP assassin, something like this.
Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I've done a lot of other different one-tricks. And one thing I notice is that many one-tricks often go on and on about how good these champions are. They often also keep telling people that no matter what elo they are, they should be trying this champion. But Lucas doesn't quite feel that way about Rakan mid. And there's a very specific reason for that.
For me, Rakan works only in higher elo, because in higher elo someone will always follow me, so that's nice. In Diamond 4 elo, this is just troll pick. No point to play this champion. You need a good jungler, that's first, and you must know how to dive enemy top laner. Of course, I can play Rakan in Platinum and do 10-0, but people in low elo just will flame you because you pick Rakan and run down and into your game and flame you. They just don't understand how this champion works. So there's no point to play Rakan in low elo. Higher elo, people just, they know me and accept that. If I ask my jungler for help and I say, play around me and I will help you in early games, he will just do it. But in Diamond 4 or something like this, there's no way to play in Rakan. People just flame and pick Singed with Ghost Cleans and run down.
Now, playing a support in the mid lane and just being a support for your jungler instead of your AD carry doesn't sound all that interesting. But one thing that's often overlooked on Rakan is how well he actually scales. It doesn't get noticed quite as often because normally Rakan's support doesn't have that much gold to be buying AP items. However, if you take a quick look at all of Rakan's abilities, they scale extremely well off of ability power, which is one of the main reasons that Lucas almost always rushes Death Cap as his second item.
In early game, yes, I'm a support, but in mid game or in late game, I'm just normal AP assassin. In late game, I can heal around 1000 damage from my Q. On Baron fight, when I can heal 5 people for 1k HP, I can shield someone around 800. I can one-shot only squishy AD carry without champs near him, like Lulu or something like this. When I use my full combo, like RW, Q, Protobelt and Ignite, I can one-shot someone, but I deal around 90% of their HP bar. I wait till someone go in and I will use R, E and flash W. This is the best combo and possibly you can do.
The way you play teamfights on Rakan is very different and unique compared to other mid laners. You start by playing it like an engage mage such as Lissandra and look for picks onto the squishy carries. CC them and try to blow them up with your team. Once you're deep into the enemy team, you go back to your own team with your E. At this point in the game, your E will provide 300 to 500 points of shielding for your AD carry. Your Q also heals for an insane amount, so you can play it like a heal bot as well. Rakan has so much mobility and so many tools for his survival. You just want to be an annoyance to the enemy team and weave in and out of the fight. Rakan's shield also scales off ability power, and it is one of the highest in the game. Even though you're the mid laner, you don't have to worry about going in and getting blown up instantly.
When I have on passive 1000 damage shield every 16 seconds and I can heal someone 1000 HP, shield someone 2 times around 800 HP, it's just OP, and I don't know why this champion deal that many damage when I can just deal instant 2000 damage to enemy AD carry and run away like nothing happened. And that's why Rakan counter 90% of assassins, because enemy assassin go in on my AD carry, I can use my ultimate and E to my AD carry and I will just save him and stop enemy assassin.
Here's your build on Rakan. Start D-Ring in 2 pots for the early power and mana that you need. Try and get basic boots and Hextech Revolver as quickly as you can. Go into your Protobelts as your first item. If you're snowballing and doing really well, you can pick up a Dark Seal as well. Once you have that, go immediately into Rabadon's Death Cap for the AP scalings. If you're really feeling it at this point, you can get a Megice if you still haven't died. If the enemy team has a ton of healing, you can get Morellonomicon instead. Otherwise, go right into Zhonya's for the teamfight value and safety it brings to you. And then you can finish off your build with either Void Staff, Spellbinder, or Banshee's Veil. For your runes, this Electrocute page is the only one that Lucas takes. Electrocute is super easy to proc in the laning phase. W, Q, and Auto immediately proc it. You take Ultimate Hunter for your ulti CDR because it's vital to be able to roam well, to be able to teamfight well, and to be able to 1v1. Rakan's ultimate is the majority of the CC that he provides in a team fight. The rest of his runes are based completely around CDR to make sure that his ultimate is on a lower cooldown and to make sure that he's able to make more plays more often. For your abilities, max W, Q, then E. W is your only wave clear ability, so it's vital that you max this first. Putting points into E isn't very strong since you can't abuse it in the laning phase and it only goes up in its base damage, not its AP scalings. Q's base damage is just better and much higher at earlier levels. All in all, Assassin Rakan is an extremely unique mid laner. He fills out every single role that any mid laner can fill. He can assassinate, he can peel, he can CC, he can engage. Just like support Rakan, he's not the best at anything, but he's good at everything. And while it takes an aggressive jungler who knows what he's doing to make the most out of this champion, if you can make the most out of him, he becomes an extremely difficult mid laner to deal with.
Rakan, great whole game. He's great in early game, he's great in mid game, late game. Champion is just, I think this too OP. I like Rakan because champion is really fun to play. Price enemy because they disrespect me. They play too aggressive. They stupid mistake. They just don't know how to play against my Rakan. Well, I just like off meta. I will play AP Alistar because of this. It's hard to explain, but I just don't like meta champs like Galio. This is just horrible and boring for me. That's why I play champs like Rakan on mid. When support on mid can one-shot enemy AD carry in Challenger Elo, that's really funny. And after this, after game, my teammates just 4 people honor me for no reason.
Thanks for watching. Big thanks to Lucas for doing the interview and giving me time to talk about mid lane Rakan. Please check out his YouTube channel, which will be in the link in the description. If you're interested in more unique champion picks, hit the notification button to see when new videos will be up. You can check out my YouTube communities tab for updates and polls to my next videos. You can also follow me on Discord and Twitter for more updates as well. Like, share, subscribe, and that's it. Bye.